Written that it's so wordy and academic, but my introduction. So, well, welcome to my course, Cultivating Human. We're going to chart the story of human communication in these 8 weeks, starting with the cognitive evolution of early primates and running through the history of humanity to our modern day network society. And we'll learn about the people who question enduring prejudicial framings of the world and overview the places and times in which they live to demonstrate how evolution and diversity and communication enabled humanity to develop culturally and politically and spiritually. And I'm going to make use of a lot of new and insightful research in anthropology and history. So much has changed in the story of human communication in the last 20 years. It really is amazing. I have a few big ideas for this series too, and for a book I'm developing, which is that communication is the medium of biological evolution and the primary driver of cognitive evolution. And cross cultural communication is the primary driver of social development in human society. I'll be looking at, and we'll be looking at ethnocentrism, anthropocentrism, and androcentrism. And these are kind of three persistent discriminatory framings that will be deconstructed in this class. Just to tell you a little bit about the weeks we'll be going through and some of the big questions. The first week, we'll be tackling how human communication is similar to animal communication and what communication legacies do we share with life on Earth. You know, after doing some of the research, I never look at birds outside of my window the same, after doing research for this particular week. We'll also be reassessing what we know about great ape communication. It seems like every week I'm picking up an article that shows how much smarter chimpanzees are than we ever knew, that they have cultural. The big thing I've learned lately is that they have ethics too. Fairness, a sense of fairness. I mean, we used to think these were simply human qualities, but they're not. We share them with our great ape kind. Week 2, we're going to be looking at what kinds of messages can be inferred from early human cave painting and the inscription of consciousness. And how do we know oral language? How do we know oral language we use must have been prevalent for tens of thousands of years before written language? And why did it take so long for written language to emerge? In week 3, we'll look at coexistence and the essence of being human, and what are some of the major currents of thought during the Axial Age, the 5th century BC, with Confucius and some of the Greek scholars, and how did that contribute to our understanding of meaning and significance later on in our modern society? How did communication change during the rise of the nation states and classical world time period? And in week 4, we'll look at Augustine's Confessions. We'll start with that because Augustine's Confessions and his other books really do frame the way the Western culture understands itself for 1,000 years through the Middle Ages. So we'll discuss that, and we'll discuss the Enlightenment that occurred during the Middle Ages. So many books are coming out right now, reassessing the medieval era of human history as really the first Renaissance, as the first period of cross-cultural sharing. And then week 5, we'll see what contributed to unequal development in the world, and where did freedom of expression originate? What's the legacy of that? Some of it is from our own English Western heritage. Some parts of it are different. What are some of the pitfalls and potentials inherent in free press as well? Week 6, we'll look at visual technology and how visual technology and visual communication changes self-expression and information dissemination. I'm working on this actually right now, writing this, and I'm labeling this particular week called A Mirror Onto Ourselves. And we'll discover the language of film and how it develops in modern cinema. So this week 6 is really about the birth of modern visual communication. I'll give you a hint too, maybe a little bit exciting for you. I think the birth of modern visual communication starts with the Mona Lisa and Artemisia Gentileschi's work in the Renaissance, two painters. So give you something to think about there. And then week 7, what are the ramifications of broadcast media, and where does it begin? How does broadcast media contribute to social mobilization, nationalism, and persuasion? And look at broadcast media as a medium for political messaging, and how did that come about, and how are we working? And then finally, the last class will be about the intercommunication revolution. We'll start with 1968, a year that a sea change in global consciousness and communication really began, and with Woodstock, and we'll review that. And we'll end the class with communication diversity in the net world and social media, and the paradigmatic shifts and the perceptions of gender and identity and race and culture. Some of the larger connections I'm taking out from writing this is that, the history of communication, so much is what we have lost, so much is what we ignore still, and so much is what we've recovered only lately. And what new phenomena in media and democratic participation we have encountered in modernity? What are the tensions and resistances to what the Greeks actually formulated as isegoria, which is the equality of all in the freedom of speech, and isonomia, which is the equality before law and the equal distribution of rights and privileges for everyone? Have we even gotten there yet? Why, we're still arguing about these particular two Greek uh, communication abilities. Anyway, that's where we are.